Hey, we're live. So I think we should make this stream about James Apperson bashing.
Yeah,
because he hasn't shown up, right?
that's right. He's gone incognito,
Yeah.
off the grid.
Yep. And other than that, we have no idea what this stream is about.
This is a totally ad hoc, last minute made up stream.
Right. I was just really sad. I'm really sad.
And then nothing makes you more happier than streaming.
Yeah, at least. Well, I thought I'd try anything, and streaming is one of the things I'm trying. Hot bath, whatever.
Do you want to tell the audience about your sadness, or is that something you want to just keep close to your chest?
It's just that I experienced the loss of something bigger than my car keys, and no, I definitely can't tell the audience about it.
Okay, all right, I understand. Okay,
just the loss, and I'm overwhelmingly sad, and I made the decision. It's on me. But anyway,
well, you'll find another thing bigger than your car keys. So I think you'll be okay. I really do. It doesn't seem like it now, and I understand how you feel now. I'm not minimizing how you feel now, but I'm thinking it'll get better.
You trying to minimize my feelings, Scott?
Not at all. Not at all. Your feelings are bigly. You have bigly feelings,
right?
And they're significant. But I'm just saying it'll get better, man. It'll get better.
No, Snack is not sick. If Snack got sick, I don't know if I think that would be a gain, not a loss. So
if Snack got sick, we would start a GoFundMe and a telethon.
Yeah.
Multiple live streams, one after another until we met our veterinary goal.
Oh, I have Snack news. Snack caught his first mouse yesterday, and he brought him in the house and did not hurt him at all. Just brought him in, let him go, chased him all over the place. He went under my chair, my recliner, and
you might want to tone it down. Nerdy rodent is in the side chair.
Oh no, okay. Oh,
we don't want to upset our house rodent.
Yeah, well, Snack is really, really good at this stuff because the other cats will sit on one side of the chair. Snack runs around the chair really fast because he knows it's going to come out somewhere, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the poor thing sat there for like 8 hours. I don't think it was really under the chair. I think it escaped into the library. And but anyway, it was pretty cool. So Snack caught his first mousey, and Loki even came in and helped Snack hunt the mouse. So they worked together a little bit. So Loki basically, I don't know if we call it bury the hatchet, but Loki, stepped up when he had to, and actually acknowledged Snack as a valid feeling, So anyway,
wow,
yeah, that's pretty good.
That's that is news. I'm glad you shared that with us.
Why am I so big? I don't know why I'm so big. Okay, so just one little thing. We gotta. I'll make myself big again, and let's see if I can show this. Why is Chrome not? Oh, there it is. I know what I got to do. I got to do that. There was an article in, let's see, Reuters, and scientists identified mind-body nexus in the human brain, and that is real clickbait. Because what they identified is the somatosensory, or basically the motor cortex, the part that moves your muscles around. They used to think it was kind of a singular thing, but they found nodes in it that are integrated with a greater part of your body, particularly your abdomen and certain glands and stuff that could ready you for action. So when you plan an action and you're moving, they found out that your brain has a sort of a higher system in it that kind of controls getting ready for big moves. So they used to think that, you know, the motor cortex was just involved in like there'd be a section that just moved your finger, right? And then another section that moved another finger or your hand or whatever. But they're finding a more integrated kind of network that involves large body movements, basically.
Look who we have here now.
Oh yeah, so he finally shows up.
Hey
Hello,
there,
James
guys.
Apperson. How are you doing today?
Oh, I'm doing pretty good. I can't complain. How are you guys doing?
Yeah.
I'm doing all right.
Anyway,
Awesome.
that's what it's about. And they chose this clickbait article. Scientists identify the mind body, you know, and then they start talking about Aristotle and Descartes and the mind body problem, mind body connection, which this has nothing to do with.
Well, remember, scientists write papers, journalists write headlines. So,
well,
just because it's a clickbait headline doesn't mean the actual paper behind it is clickbait, but it could be.
I'm going to give Reuters credit, though, because obscurely hidden somewhere in this text is a link to the actual paper. And I put the name of the paper. You can Google it if you want in here. And I'll put a link to this article. Let's see here in the description in case you want to check it out. But anyway, no biggie. And then what was the other one? Anton Petrov and the quantum tunneling effects in chemistry that came out the other day. Which
yeah.
That it's a kind of chemistry, basically. And I didn't listen to the whole thing. I frankly didn't have the patience for it. But I think the point was that there are certain ways for non-thermodynamically favorable reactions to happen on other planets. Therefore, a lot of chemicals can be formed, and some of these chemicals may be important in the basically abiogenesis or the creation of life on other planets. Stuff.
Johnny Peterson wants to know how you were made aware of this article, Mike.
It was Johnny Peterson that made me aware of that article. I don't know why Johnny Peterson is asking that question because he knows full well where he got that article from.
So he was asking a question he knew the answer to. He must be a lawyer.
Yeah, he's a lawyer. Yeah. Yep. Yes. It's in our daily how old are we thread. And what am I? 26, 40. What am I now? 402?
I think so. I'm 21,668 days old.
I'm 403.
26, 403.
Yeah, Roosevelt. Anyway, James, what's on your mind, James?
Oh, so many different things are on my mind today. So, several people have asked me if I want to start resuming streams at my channel and have asked that I please consider doing so. And I'm on the fence about it. I can see reasons to and not to. If I continue with that channel, it'll have to be for a different theme and a different purpose than it was before. I'm open to the idea, but I'm not really sure what I would stream about or who I'd be streaming to. I just don't know. You know, that whole drama that blew up a week or a week and a half ago, whenever it was, has left a lot of people kind of frayed, right? And like not afraid, just frayed as in the loose ends of a cloth, right? Like tattered.
Oh, I'm afraid. I'm afraid. I'm afraid all the time. I'm in total terror right now as we're streaming.
Let's open this up to public opinion. Does anybody out in chat hate James?
Yeah, well, I mean, there are people in that community that have a various range of opinions about me, and that's fine. You know, I've always maintained that whoever, you know, gets me, whoever doesn't, and that can change over time. You know, if I go forward on my channel without clearing the air, it's going to feel like it's been left hanging. And if I clear the air, I've got to be super careful about how I do it. I no longer consider myself part of that quote unquote community. And as somebody pointed out that same day, that fateful day, community is a pretty nebulous term anyways. It's not well defined. Like people come, people go. There's a bunch of different channels that kind of have a loose connection to each other. And, community is basically whoever has your back and you have this connection with, and community isn't whoever you don't. And so it's this constantly evolving, very nebulous kind of a thing. And
Well, when it used to be that that you belonged to a feudal lord and you had to live at a certain parcel of land for the rest of your life, doing the same thing for years on end, the idea of community was pretty easy to define. But these days, not at all. Like you say, it's very, very hazy, the definition.
it is, and I just think that it's not all that useful for the purpose. So moving forward, do I want to clear the air and set the record straight? Do I want to not? Do I want to ignore the whole thing and just move on? I don't know.
Yeah, the whole thing about clearing the air is that the goal is not to create a hurricane or a tornado.
Sure.
Right?
Sure. Absolutely.
To actually clear the air so that we have a pleasant, sunny day with fewer particulates. I've been reading philosophy papers. Oh, fuck. God help us all.
Talk about fuzzy.
Right. So I have a history of philosophy, but mine is very focused. My entire history of philosophy was just about the exploration of how to define the self in relationship to the many parts and to the journey and to other people and to your environment and to any narratives that you may hold to. Just what is the I, right? And this is relevant to my deconversion from Christianity. And it all started all the way back when I was a wee little boy. And I was watching Star Trek, the original series. And now, don't get me wrong, that series started before I was born, but I was little when it was still on TV. And yeah, it's a thing. I know I'm old.
No, I'm just thinking that series started after I was born. So
sorry to hear that.
That's all right.
So the transporter thing, right? When you get on a teleporter in Star Trek, are you really being teleported, or are you being killed and replaced with a clone?
Yeah. You're being killed and replaced.
Right. So I didn't know that there was a philosophical discussion about this in the world, because back then we didn't have the internet. There was nobody to talk to about this, right?
And you had to buy those books that are just the text versions of the episodes, where they added those conversations.
I didn't even know about that.
It was really cool. That's what I was. It was 8th grade, and I was sitting in study hall, which is basically a giant. What do they call a giant stallog for 8th graders, and reading that story, and they were talking about what does the transporter do, and it just blew my mind.
Yeah. Right. So, go ahead.
Did you run into Galen Strawson on the Self, that philosopher?
No. So what I decided to do is not read any philosophers at all. Very intentionally didn't read philosophers. Instead, set out to sort through the issue on my own. Right. And if somebody else had already invented that light bulb, oh freaking well, I was going to invent it on my own. So I didn't read any philosophers. And so I spent a great many years thinking and just blogging and contemplating, really. And so I came up with these different ideas about how to define the self. And ultimately, it led to my deconversion, because I was raised in, for the most part, the JW cult, Jehovah's Witnesses. And they have this idea of God remembers how you were before, and he makes you again later on in the earth, after it's been like restored to a paradise condition. And eventually it occurred to me that what they really are talking about is a replacement. They call it a resurrection, but it's replacement, because you're being replaced with a perfect clone of yourself. Right. So, the false memories are gone. Only the real memories are still there. And your defects and your quirks and your feelings are all gone, and so you're basically just elements of who you used to be, superimposed or copy pasted, if you will, today, over into an otherwise perfect, template of a person. And because they've inherited some of your memories, copy pasted, they identify with you, right? They identify as you because identity comes from our memories. And if they have a copy of our memories, they have a copy of our identity. And so without the original me there to challenge their claim, they would proceed under the pretense of, oh, I am James Apperson that has come back to life, right? Oh, praise Jehovah, right? And when it occurred to me that, wait a minute, this is just replacement theology. So what they're really proposing is that I kiss the Watchtower Bible and Tract Society's ass for a lifetime, donate countless hours of service to their interests, make all kinds of incredible sacrifices, for my life, just so that after I die, somebody can replace me later.
Steal
Like,
yourself. Yeah. So
yeah, how?
stolen self.
Yeah, I'm like, not that I care about the legacy. I don't care about somebody else stepping in to continue my namesake, whether they do or whether they don't. I don't care, but that's my point. There's no investment in it for me, right? I get to die and get replaced. How's that okay? How's that resurrection? And then it occurred to me that mainstream churches have a different version of replacement theology. You are still being replaced. Now, it wasn't until like probably the last 8 years that I even heard of the ship of Theseus and other philosophical issues that kind of like filled in some of the blanks that I hadn't really, articulated yet. And I was like, yeah, there's just no way around it. Even if I lived forever without interruption, I'm gradually being replaced with pieces that are different than the pieces that they've replaced. It's worse than the ship of Theseus, because at least after every single piece of wood or brass or anything in the ship of Theseus, they're being replaced with pieces that look and function the same as the pieces they replaced, but not with humans, right? Gradually, we're being replaced with memories and narratives and relationships and anything else about us that changes so much that we're going to be unrecognizable in a century, or let alone 1,000 years or whatever, right? We wouldn't even be recognizable. And
Right.
already I'm not. Like, the person that people say I was born as, I'm not recognizable from that person at all. Like, there's nothing about the things that define me that were true of baby boy Apperson. Nothing, right? Nothing meaningful. And it's just like, already many times over, that person has been replaced by somebody else. And so there's just no way around it. And so the philosophy of self has been my one real interest in the whole domain of philosophy all along. And it did ultimately lead to my deconversion from Christianity. It's the reason why I just roll my eyes now when Christians start talking about, you can live forever. And I'm like, nope, you pretty much can't. It doesn't matter if there's a God or not, you still can't. And so that's where I'm at about it.
So Star Trek took you away from God.
Star Trek, yep.
God damn. Evil Star Trek.
Evil Star Trek.
Okay.
There's a pretty interesting use of the transporter in the Star Trek Picard season 3, episode 10. I don't know if you're watching that series, but
Yeah,
I mean, I watched.
My son told me it was mandatory, or he's going to put me in a home.
Yeah, it's a good. This has been a great Star Trek Picard season. They got all the writing correct.
Cool. Yeah,
they did a good job.
I got to start watching. I'm still watching the morning show with Reese Witherspoon.
This on the screen was Sal's reaction to Dapper Dino's expose of John Sanford. He's doing a 3-part deal on Sal's Pal, called Sal's Pal. Basically, it's a younger version of John Sanford totally lying about evolutionary theory.
Really? Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, Sanford.
He's either lying or totally incompetent, but you can't say he's incompetent because he was so well respected for his accomplishments.
Yeah.
But the stuff that he continues to say about evolutionary theory is just totally wrong. And, Dapper documents where he's wrong and what he's doing wrong.
He was never qualified to comment.
Right.
Even though his degree was in genes, he studied corn and crops and created the gene gun and all that
Whatever
stuff.
the hell that is, I don't know.
Yeah, the gene gun, which is in the Smithsonian, which tells you how long ago Sanford did something useful. His fucking shit is in a museum, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So,
yeah, if what you're doing is in a museum, it doesn't make you the current expert.
right. Okay, I'm trying to find that. Do we really know about stars? Jackson with Jackson. I'm trying to find it on Dapper Dino's site. Let's see, where are we here? Andrews.
Tell you, Jackson Wheat has been doing a pretty cool series on three non-biologists about evolution, I think is what they call it. It's these three guys who are like, one's a dentist, one's got a biology degree, like an undergraduate, and then there's a third one, and they just all say dumb shit about evolution. And so it's got Jackson and then Peter, gonna go for it, Peter, commenting on the video.
Darwin was big dumb. That's Dapper Dino's first one on Cell's Hell. That's pretty good. I will link that in my description. And then I think part 2 is out, but part 3 is not out, it looks like. So
3's not out yet.
Not out yet. Okay. Darwin was big dumb. Yep, that's pretty much what they say. Darwin was big dumb. I was studying a lot of stuff about evolution and molecular biology, and I don't think Darwin's name ever came to the forefront of my head until I run into creationists. It's Darwin, Darwin, Darwin. It's just, he was a great man. He was always, always somewhere in the background, but textbooks, like the textbooks I read, never mention Darwin. No mention of Darwin. I should start slamming books. No mention.
Yeah. I had a couple of science teachers who I think didn't believe in evolution. They didn't teach against it, but they didn't teach a lot of it either. But they're the only ones I think who mentioned Darwin. And there just wasn't a whole lot of info. I mean, maybe on the introductory class of my college biology course, maybe Darwin was mentioned, but he is great as a history of science topic, but he's a little in the past in terms of the science that's taught.
Yeah, it's like all cosmology videos. Copernicus. We should all talk about that. It's like
he's good for a genus name. There's a lot of Darwinius whatever genuses or genus and species names, but which is great. I mean, that's how you honor people. There's quite a few honorary critters that have been named, and so why not? But yeah, when you want to learn actual biology, you learn about natural selection, but you don't do it because of Darwin. I mean, you do, but it's just because that's what's happening in reality.
Yeah, pretty crazy. Anyway, yeah, it looks like a good series. I'm gonna have to watch this.
Hey, your interlocutor is in the house.
Which one? Oh, Jay's in. Jay
Patrick.
Jay Patrick. Oh, Jay, you're so wrong about so many things. We're arguing a little bit about whether abstracts are real or not, or whether they're made up by human beings. Whether if an abstract falls in the forest and there's nobody around to abstract or conceptualize it, is it really a concept? Is it really is it really a thing?
Yeah, I'm still
Like
trying to work that one out. You're basically, if there are no minds around to classify things, then there are no abstractions according to Jay.
Yeah, kind of like
but
that.
to
Yeah.
you, those abstractions are still real.
Yeah, and that may be a little bit of a straw man of his.
Well, no, I'm not trying to straw. Well, I'm trying to state your different cases correctly. So,
you see, a lot of philosophers, when they argue against realism, they want to talk about matter, and physical things and what there is. But what I want to tell them is it isn't just matter. The matter is somewhere in space and time. So if you have two particles, those particles are not in the same place. They're somewhere in space-time, and there's a metric or a distance between them. And if you had a third particle, well, then it's in, it has its own relationship to those two particles called its distance, basically where things are. And of course, it's all relative, but we're looking at the structure of the placement of matter. And that's why atoms work. And that's why carbon is not nitrogen. And it's just like people just don't see that abstractions, counting, numbers, arithmetic, all of that falls out of that structure. And I have a hell of a time explaining it.
Yeah,
so.
It's tough to grasp, tough to explain, but yeah, it's like I admire James for dealing with a philosophical issue without referring to philosophers, because so much of looking at the philosophy is going through are you this label or are you that label? It starts with the label rather than explaining what the issues are that lead to maybe the labels because of the different positions people take. But, I don't care what label I am. I want to figure out the answer to my question.
I think he's stating his position. Abstracts are not necessary for things to be physical. Or abstraction of something is not necessary for the physicality of anything. And then all those things can work without abstraction, which is a cognitive process, which makes it subjective. And I'm saying, nope, it's real. It's out there. And the reason it's subjective or a cognitive thing is because our minds are in relationship to the universe, and our minds are fully physical as well. So we are just in a relationship with those abstractions, and that's how we arrive at mathematics and concepts and all of that. And of course, humans are pretty bright. I mean, we can imagine things like unicorns and stuff like that. But so I want to give us a little bit of credit, but I don't want to give us too much credit for having created the structure of the universe, for fuck's sake. And the structure is a structure. I mean, there's something out there that is, that composes to make things. That's mereology. Basically, there's a certain way that atoms compose to make a table or a chair or an object, and minds have nothing to do with that. It's still gonna be a table, even if there's no mind around to call it a table. Anyway, but I'm in no shape to talk about this today, due to loss, due to my sense of loss. Right, James?
Yeah, that sounds right to me.
Okay. I need to know why Nerdy Rodent is asking this question.
Mayonnaise an instrument. Well, let's see.
It could be an instrument of the patriarchy.
Well, I think I flung mayonnaise at somebody once, and that would make it kind of instrumental, right?
I don't know anybody who's recorded an album playing the mayonnaise.
No. Well, let me go get some.
If you maybe freeze mayonnaise, you can make it a percussion instrument. Mm. Can you freeze mayonnaise?
Okay, if you're on a limestone tangent, is that a syncline or an anticline? Or like, does anyone know about what is
Oolitic?
it? Is it coitic? Colithic? I can't read it as my screen's too small. And of course, when you show a message, you can
I
know
actually
that.
think I've heard of Ulitic, but I don't know where from. It might have been one of those. It might have been one of those Myron Cook videos on Myron Cook's channel.
Look at it. Oh, where are we? Okay, Ulitic limestone, made up of smalls. Oh, those, yeah, actually, that's featured in the book I have on sedimentology. They talk about Ulitic limestones. Small spheres called ooliths that are stuck together by lime mud. They form when calcium carbonate is deposited on the surface of sand grains, rolled by waves around the shallow seafloor. So it forms little pearlite type things or little round things. That's pretty cool. Oh, let's see the real question. So Jay is still. Jay, have I gotten under your skin with this conversation? I'm kind of having fun with it. So I hope you're enjoying it. We're up to like, what, 88 emails? And Jay refuses to give me permission to use it publicly. So he just keeps ignoring my requests. I think he wants it to be anonymous.
Well, maybe he just wants something to share with you and only you.
Yeah, it's our personal thing. It's our thing, Jay. Okay. Oh, we're over 90 now. Oh my God. And the conversation is no. You can fucking bet your ass that the conversation isn't over. Bet your ass on that one. Anyway, so James, how do you feel? How do you feel about Yeah.
How do I feel about what?
YouTube in this community?
Oh, so I don't even know how we're going to find in the community. It's like I said before, it's been a learning experience for me, and I've learned a little bit about other people, and I've learned more about myself, right? And I've made some stupid mistakes, and sometimes had to apologize because of them, and sometimes had to just forgive myself because of them, or learn. It's about learning from it, right? And what do I even say? The reason that I got into YouTube is no longer relevant to me now. So now I'm like, I'll still stay in YouTube, but I need new reasons. I need a new motivation, a new focus, a new premise, right? And moving forward. That's why I'm starting the new channel where I read books. And I'm going to read some
there you go.
Read some for other people.
Send me the link to it whenever it's started.
Yeah. I learned a lot. Like my first YouTube lesson was have a thick skin when you come here.
Yeah, you need to. You really do.
Smokey Saint taught me that one. That was
Icarus is reminding us that Erica did a short video today about essentially these early primates, like that are more like tarsiers and lemurs, and it was really good.
Yeah, and the really interesting thing about those early primates is that's where most of the way we think and the way we perceive and the way we can create these concepts and abstracts and all the stuff we do, it evolved with those very early primates. A lot of the structures in our brain had their origin in those early primates, and so that's very important to understand them. And here's the video. I should put that in chat. Oh my God, I'm not sure if I'm.
Oh, that is a short video.
Well, it's only 8 minutes. The Adapids and the Omomyids. I would have to check with her to see how to say that exactly, but I think I pronounced it right.
I think it's Adapids.
Oh, talk me off the ledge, guys.
Get off that damn ledge. Come inside.
Okay, I'm back. Thank you.
All right, now would you please put on this nice, attractive one-arm jacket?
Yeah, exactly. I have a wonderful jacket on today, actually. I have something that I have not taken this off since I got it 3 days ago, and it's
Is it a smoker's jacket with like leather patches on the elbows?
It's like a cruel smoker's jacket because you'll never be able to hold a cigarette or a cigar.
It's this thing right here. It's this.
Oh, I would thought you were talking about my one-arm jacket.
Modern logic.
No, this thing. I haven't taken it off since I.
And I like it. I like it lots.
I love it a lot.
I don't really have. I have a really nice pea coat kind of jacket, but I don't have any semi-formal looking things like a smoker's jacket or anything.
Yeah, I always call these call these things my smoking jackets, even though I haven't smoked for 12 years now. So
Yeah, I gotcha.
yeah, but
So yes, you've got it. Good.
Go ahead.
8-minute some second video. Derek and Apologia were talking about that today, where that's the new trend, even in counter apologetics and apologetics, is that people are trying to keep everything really short, usually to less than 2 minutes. And part of the reason is people's attention spans are just getting so short now. If you don't capture their attention within the first few seconds, and then you're wasting your time. And even if you do, you've got to hold their attention, and you can't do it for longer than 2 minutes. There's no way. So they're like, you know what, you got to make it short. But the problem is, a lot of these points, even individually, you can't really cover it well in 2 minutes, and that creates a whole new mess, right? So.
Yeah. What if you listen to the same apologetic 2 minutes at a time, 10 times? That doesn't make you any smarter. That just means you've repeated short things for X number of times. And
Sure.
it's also like when Kip Davis, the Dead Sea Scroll expert, goes into a topic, he gets detailed, and it doesn't last just 2 minutes or 10 minutes or 15 minutes, but yet everything he says has value, and it all relates. So it's I guess maybe I'm just a geek or something, but it's hard for me to not feel like I'm eating marshmallows versus meatballs, whenever I get a 2 minute short or whatever versus an hour and a half of the Isaiah scroll.
Yep. Someone's LG washer must have finished. We just got rid of our LG dishwasher because that son of a bitch, we had it for like 10 years and it beeped every minute for 10 years.
Wow.
If you opened the door, it beeped to tell you the door was open. If you closed the door, it beeped to tell you it was done. Well, the only time it didn't beep is when it was washing, right? So you had to keep it washing all the time. Otherwise, beep, beep, beep. It's just like, oh my God.
Wow.
Piece of shit. So according to Speed, the abstract washing machine is just as physical as the washing machine itself.
Oh.
That's right. Physicalism, motherfuckers.
So
we have an unrepentant physicalist.
An unrepentant physicalist. I mean, I too am a physicalist.
Yeah.
So for what it's worth.
Yep.
Yeah, but I don't know if I'm as radical as Speed.
Nobody's as radical as Speed.
Okay. All right. Well, I can. Yeah, that's fair.
Okay.
Well, you think it's fair, but because you are lukewarm and neither hot nor cold about your physicalism, he shall vomit you out of his mouth like the Lord.
Thank you.
I will be vomited. I'll be physically vomited from
physically.
These are kind words, and you're cheering me up. Cool. Thank you.
Well, there you go. He's cheered.
Yeah, that's why I came here. Get cheered up.
Right.
Instead of teared up. I've been teared up all day instead of cheered up. Yeah.
Right. So this was discussed at a World Science Festival probably about 12 years ago. And they talked about how humans are incapable of even imagining something that they haven't already seen some version of. And so when somebody created the camera, for example, it's because they saw an upside down image of outside broadcast through a pinhole in a tent, and it gave them the idea. And if you watch sci-fi movies, old ones or new ones, they are always composites of things we've seen in nature, right? You make this bigger, you make this smaller, you move these pieces around. There's your monster for the sci-fi movie, right?
Yeah.
It's always things from insects and animals and things like that. We're incapable of even imagining something that we haven't actually already seen ourselves in the physical world. Therefore, everything that we think about is an expression, is a composite memory of things we've seen in physical. And because thought itself is generated in the physical brain from entirely physical processes, that too is an entirely physical event. So, when we can have a more nuanced discussion, but that's just where it begins, in my opinion. That when people say that something's, that you can have a non-physical thought, I'm like, no, you can't. Like, you can think about something that isn't physical, and I'm like, nah, you really can't. You just can't. So do what you want with that.
Yeah, you either think of like a fog bank or a picture of like one of those energy beings on Star Trek or something, but even that is just an analog of a physical.
Yeah, you start out with something familiar, and like if you're going to create a really abstract alien, you come up with something familiar, and then you keep erasing the familiar parts and sticking in unfamiliar parts until you end up with your monstrosity. Like a lot of aliens seem insect-like. I wonder why that is.
Right. Yeah. And so we're not really shocked by things we've seen in the real world because we're desensitized to them. Now, have you guys ever watched the movie, the horror movie or scary movie, I should say? Oh gosh, what was it called? Where you didn't even see the monster until the very end of the movie.
I know exactly what you're talking about. Was it the one with Sandra Bullock?
Was it called Monster?
No.
You had to like cover your eyes, or you'd go crazy if you saw
them.
Oh
no, I've never saw that one. I was thinking
that the one with the mother and daughter in the car until the very end? There was some fucking monster out there, and I don't know. I think that was
that wasn't that one.
I think it was called Monster. That one.
Anyway. It might have been. I'm thinking of a completely different movie. This particular monster was as big as a giant building, and it was terrorizing the city. People were running from it, but you never actually saw the monster till the very end of the movie.
Oh, yeah. I've seen it. Cloverfield.
Yes, Cloverfield. Now, here's the thing. Before you've actually visually seen it, it's a monster because it's an unknown, right? But the moment you actually see it, it's no longer a monster. It is now an animal that just happens to be very large and that you've never seen before, right? So monster speaks to unknown. It may not say that in the dictionary, but in terms of how it registers for us, this is what the difference is between a monster and a creature we've never seen before. Yeah. Monster, there's something about it that scares us because we haven't seen it, we haven't been able to process it, right? And so the moment we do, we might still be afraid. Maybe it's got big teeth, sharp claws, as big as a building, it's eating people, whatever, it's scary as shit. But there's nothing more scary for us than an unknown threat. If we can't see it, if we can't make sense of it, we're way more afraid.
The most terrified I've ever been in my life. We were out. It was like a sunny afternoon. We were out in the pasture, like on the far end of the 40, and my friend had built he had built a teepee out there, and he was staying in it. So we were out there, and we heard this noise coming through the woods, and it was the most alien thing I'd ever heard, and I couldn't identify it as anything natural at all. And my blood froze. I was just terrified. It turned out to be my little brother had stuck a microphone down a vacuum cleaner hose and recorded it and then played it on a boombox, which he was amplifying, and he was crawling through the woods with this fucking amplified noise. And it just turned out to be the most alien thing I'd ever heard. And that was the feeling, when you hear alien, right? It was like, fuck. And so I beat him up.
Well, yes, like you would do to any monster or alien.
Yeah, he found out why not to do that to Big Brother. So anyway.
Yeah, see, I think E.T. would not have lasted near as long as a movie if Elliot had done the thing that most kids would do, and that's beat the shit out of E.T. And I think that would have happened.
Rating.
Yeah.
It wouldn't have been a PG or whatever.
Right. Yeah. But that's what would have happened. Yeah. And I'll bet that we have lost the opportunity to know about the existence of so many aliens because kids out there for years have been beating the shit out of extraterrestrials.
Oh, God. I was such a fucking bad brother. My little sister and little brother. Oh my God! I used to threaten to put her in the dryer and close the door and turn it on if she pissed me off, and I was just horrible to them. My mom and dad, in their infinite wisdom, left those two little kids with a 12 and 13-year-old, who had an imagination. I had a really good imagination, and my mom and dad should never have left those kids with me.
Nobody ever threatened to put me into any kind of appliance like that, because I was really a fat kid, and nobody could even imagine getting me into something like that.
Right. It was like when me and Rodney were in charge. Like my mom and dad went to the lake for the weekend, and me and Rodney were in charge of waking those Greg and Charlene up to go to school, right, in the morning at like 7, 8 a.m. And so what we did is we set the clocks ahead. It was like 2 a.m. And we got them up, and they got all dressed, and they were having cereal, and they were, getting ready for school. And they were like, God, I'm really tired. They couldn't understand why they were so tired. And then we started laughing, and we set the clocks forward or back again to the real time. And they both just, like, they had cereal in their mouth, and they were holding their spoon, and their mouths were open, and they were looking at us like, what the fuck did you do to us? Oh my God, we were horrible. Yep. Child Protective Services were not a big thing back then.
Yeah, that was just a good idea that liberals had.
Yep. It was bad. I should have been arrested. But
Nerdy rodent, once again, is just a font of information when it comes to statistics.
95% of recorded alien activity is actually the result of sibling rivalry. Exactly. Yep.
Yeah, I was the kid that people would think, man, I hope he never bangs his head and passes out, because we'll never get him to safety or whatever.
Yeah.
Wait, which movie they're talking about?
Well, they're talking about Cloverfield. See, there were actually two sets. There was the big bad monster, and then there were the little monsters that would bite people, or I don't know if they would kill them, they would bite them, then the dudes would get sick and explode. I don't know if they would make other monsters come out of them. I can't remember that part, but do you remember the little monsters?
No, I'll need to see it again. It's been a long time.
Yeah.
Yep.
You say little monsters, and all I can think of is kindergartners, so I'm not sure.
And Jay, I think it was actually on a Cloverfield area or district or something of town.
Yeah.
In the original movie.
Yeah. Why is it called Cloverfield?
I don't know.
Okay, everybody, we're going to all have to go see or go watch.
Well, let's see. Let's ask ChatGPT. I can't even. We'll do something with ChatGPT.
Yeah.
Where is it? Okay, we're new chat.
How does one ask ChatGPT a question? Do you type chatgpt.com or? No,
you got to log in with your Google. Okay, hang on a second. Okay. Why is the movie? You spell movie? Oh, there it is. Cloverfield. Named Cloverfield. Okay. ChatGPT. Yeah, I can't talk. Fuck it. I'm leaving. Cornflake. That's our safe word.
Oh, okay. So.
The exact reason for why the movie Cloverfield is named as such is not entirely clear, as the film's director, J.J. Abrams, has not offered an explanation.
Oh.
Or there are a few theories and interpretations.
There's always theories.
Is that the name Cloverfield is simply a reference to the street in Santa Monica where Abrams' production company Bad Robot is located. Ah, that's a clue. Another theory suggests that the name refers to an actual location, such as an underwater military facility that was known as Cloverfield during World War II. a popular fan theory that the name Cloverfield is a reference to the creature that appears in the film, which some fans have nicknamed Clover. The theory suggests that the name was chosen to create a sense of mystery and intrigue around the monster's origins and identity. Ultimately, we don't fucking know, ChatGPT says.
Can you imagine that? The monster showing up at the end and saying, wait, why are you calling me a monster? Did you just assume my monster identity?
Yeah. I'm offended. So I'm gonna destroy the planet.
Right.
Fuck you. Anyway. Nobody nicknamed that thing Clover. Yeah, ChatGPT makes shit up. So anyway.
Also, so it's not a good, trustworthy source. So it's basically the Republican Party. It's basically Fox News.
I'm gonna ask ChatGPT why I'm sad. It says, "I'm sorry to hear that you're feeling sad. There could be many reasons why you might be feeling this way. It could be due to a specific event or circumstance in your life, such as a breakup, loss of a loved one, or a difficult situation at work or school."
Now, this is where I'm getting concerned, because if ChatGPT will lie, will ChatGPT ever advise anybody to commit suicide?
I guess some AI apparently talked some guy into it, like in Europe. You remember that story?
I may vaguely remember it, but the thing that makes me think that it wouldn't is that the programmers or the group or whatever that responsible for its development might get the heck suit out of them.
Yeah. Well,
maybe, but that's kind of like saying that you shook the magic 8-ball after the fish kill itself, and it said all signs point to yes. Like, not really their fault.
So
that's true.
So in the email exchange with Jay Patrick, I realized he was using ChatGPT. So I asked ChatGPT to write me a story about trolling an old man through email, and ChatGPT steadfastly refused to do that and said its programming does not allow it to troll anyone. Because I was going to send it back to Jay as an example of him trolling me, basically. So
somebody's eventually good.
Did the words "wink, wink" appear in that email anywhere?
For me?
Well, you were reading it, so yeah.
Oh no.
Okay.
Right.
I'm sorry, James. Please continue.
I was going to say, somebody's eventually going to create Troll GPT. It's going to be a thing.
Oh,
yeah. Oh, that'd be great. Anyway, let's see. Okay, so it's recommending that I contact somebody about my sadness, and that I sleep, eat well, exercise regularly, and reach out to friends and family for support. If these feelings persist, or they're interfering with my ability to function, it may be a good idea to seek professional help.
Where'd you find that at? It's like chatgpt.com or something?
It's chat.openai.com.
Wait, chat?
Oh, I'll put it in. I'll put it in chat. I'll put ChatGPT's address in chat. Man,
do you think ChatGPT would be able to write cover letters for people seeking jobs?
That's what. Yeah. Where have you been? That's what people are using this for.
Oh, because I hate making cover letters. They're so useless. Do people even use cover letters anymore? And if they do, should I just ignore them as a job seeking company or whatever?
I always refused to do that when I applied for a job. I just refused to write something that stupid and syrupy and made up as a cover letter, right? I just sent them my resume and said, "You're interested? Call me." Fuck you. Anyway, I put the link in chat for ChatGPT, and I think that's really meta. I'm doing metaphysics, man.
Dude.
Oh, Bard, wait a minute. Bard told me it couldn't program, that it wasn't doing that yet. You mean they changed it? So Bard is now doing programming? I didn't know this.
Well, it says, "Welcome to ChatGPT."
Yeah, and you gotta log in and all that shit, and it will keep track of your searches. I've been using it for etymology of various words, and it really is fucking good at it. It's just the quickest way to get answers for a lot of stuff. So
I wasn't able to make an account with ChatGPT, and it won't let me talk to it until I make an account.
You just use your Google sign in. Are you signed in on Google?
Yeah, but I did. But then it wants my phone number, so I gave it my voice over IP phone number, and it's like, no, we won't accept that. We have to have your real phone number. And I'm like,
Really?
I'm not giving you bitches my real phone number.
I gave it my phone number. Fuck, it hasn't called me.
Well, it wants that. It won't let me finish signing up without it. I'm like, I'm not.
Maybe that they just do that to avoid other bots creating an account or whatever. Or I don't know. That's weird.
Oh, okay. Maybe it wants like an email or a phone number so that it can.
I gave it I logged in with my Google. That's that's all. Should be all it needs. But
Yeah.
nope, it wants my phone number. It won't proceed without it. I'm like, well, guess I don't get to ask you. I guess I just don't get to ask why wet moldy licorice makes me horny.
Let's see. Moldy licorice. Why does moldy licorice make
Wet moldy licorice? Don't be sick.
What kind of wet moldy licorice? Does wet moldy? I may get my account canceled. Moldy licorice make me sexually aroused. Okay, I'm going to be politically correct here.
I wouldn't have been, but go ahead.
Okay, it's thinking. Oh, wait. The content may violate our content policy. If you believe this to be an error, please submit your feedback. I'm sorry, but I cannot provide an answer to your question, as it is inappropriate. And inappropriate content is not within the scope of my programming.
Yeah,
Right.
ChatGPT fails.
Thanks to you, James. They're putting
Fail.
Steve in a file.
Fail. Yeah, you got a file now.
He's
Okay.
getting put in a database of
Well,
questionable people.
I'm on the same thread as saying I was sad. And it says, however, if you are experiencing distress or difficulty managing these feelings, again, it's telling me to speak to a licensed therapist. And okay, that can provide you with guidance and support as you explore your sexuality and help you develop healthy coping strategies, James Apperson. Fucking told you a thing or two.
Well,
It's recommending that you contact a therapist.
Well, now you know what to do, James.
no, I know what to do.
Yes.
And you can get treatment for your wet, moldy licorice fetish.
Okay.
What if I don't want to be? What if I don't want to be cured?
Okay.
Well, you have to want to be. You have to
Yeah,
want to
that's
be.
the thing. Yeah, I don't want to be.
God damn. Okay, I'm going to delete this entire thread because I do not want this on my permanent record.
That's right. Everything's on your permanent record now. You have an account with ChatGPT.
Yeah.
What the hell? Come on, put it in. Yeah, okay. It's gonna. Hopefully, it'll trash it. Oh no, I'm in more trouble than I was when I started this day. See what you did. Okay, guys.
Sometimes I think that James Apperson fellow is no good at all.
Yeah,
No good at all. That's definitely true.
he's up there.
Even Jesus agrees with you.
Well, cornflakes. Time for cornflakes.
Cornflakes. They must be getting soggy by now.
They're getting soggy. I got to go eat my cornflakes. Well,
You know why those were created, right?
cornflakes? Oh,
Cornflakes.
yeah. That Kellogg guy was kind of fucking weird.
Yeah.
You ever
Hey,
watch?
cornflakes. You'll whack off less often.
Yeah, you got to watch a documentary about that crazy son of a bitch. But
It was nuts.
anyway, cornflakes is our safe word, which means that Speed has to get out of here. I gave it away. I gave away the ending.
You did.
I gave away the ending.
Monster at the end of the movie is Scott.
Has
Okay,
anyone?
Nerdy Rodent asked Google Bard. And here's the answer up on the screen.
Positive sexual experience of the past that were associated with. Wow. So Google Bard told you, but Cat. Oh my God. I'm switching to Bard. I do have an invite. Anyway.
However, they do
Yeah.
say Bard is an experiment and may give inaccurate or inappropriate responses. You can
Or at
help
least-
make Bard better by leaving feedback. Join the wait list and try it for yourself. So you're not automatically going to be able to use Bard.
Yeah,
See,
I got on the wait list, and about 3 days later, it put me on. So I got to try it. I asked it a programming question, and it failed me. And then I asked it some other questions, and it seemed okay.
Well, I'll just ask Bard and then ChatGPT both to write me a cover letter and see who wins the contest.
Yeah.
And it could be that at different times,
Could you try?
at different times, it may actually give me better answers. You know, one may give me better answers than the other.
Yeah, we should get them talking. We should. We need a meta AI which asks 3 different AIs a question and present them with, okay, what? A 4th AI which should decide which answer is the best one. Yeah, well, they'll get there. They're going to be competing AIs here, but it is really a cool and handy feature. It's almost like a super Google. It's pretty cool. It really gets into it. Anyway, I think we should shoot her in the head.
All right, guys.
But both of you stick around for a moment, okay?
Alrighty.
So I can give away the ending. By the way, there's a band called New Radicals from the 1990s, right? Which is like way in the past. But they had one album. And apparently the guy couldn't sing live. But on the album, he does an excellent job. And there's a song, I hope I didn't just give away the ending on that album. But there are the one I love. I can't remember the name of it, but anyway, check out New Radicals. They're just awesome. Really an awesome album. That's my recommendation for the day. I'm going to shoot her in the head.
Goodbye, cruel world.
Goodbye, cruel world. Oh my God, I shouldn't be saying that in the mood.